Hey, so that's going to lead me into a follow-up question here, and it's kind of a multi-part question. So, being born, raised, and educated here on the island Guam, tell me about what tech education resources and experiences you wish you would have had that would have made you a better software engineer and entrepreneur. And then two, follow that up with what you think is needed on the island to shape this mindset and this paradigm of services, software services that exist in cyberspace that Guam can manufacture, if you will, and export to the rest of the world.
One example that is near and dear to me is Facebook. Facebook disrupted MySpace at the time, and it had a lot of media and marketing behind it. And it actually inspired me to create my own web application, start learning CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. Now, at school, these services weren't provided. These services were really talked about. These things were really amongst friends. When we were designing our MySpace pages, that's where we kind of learned it. We learned it because of our interests and our hobbies and our community that wanted to, share our profiles and our networks together. It was challenging as I had priorities. I was in sports. I was really focused on going to college. I had my family going out to parties and everything. Just really enjoying like the youth I had, and the resources were just not available at the time. And I'm talking 2010s, 2012, 2010 to 2014 when I was in high school. What I wish existed in those times were just resources that I want to bring here today. And what that looks like is the schools provided, it was their mission to provide us with technology advancements for the 21st century. Very vague, but important. It kept us focused on the changing economic landscape, the changing technology landscape. But the meat of what was needed to accomplish that wasn't there yet. It was still growing. And as I look today, a lot of programs on Guam have integrated using Zoom to connect with their students, to offer classes through Zoom. We're using technology in ways that we have never used them before, but it just took a while.
Talk a little bit more in specifics about the meat, as you said, the meat of the technologies that were missing.
The meat of the technology, meaning how exactly does the technology work? Where does the technology come from? And how can we use these technologies in creative ways that can satisfy the business or needs of our island? Really, what we could have created at the time is accounting software that helps Guam businesses. We could have created a rideshare at the same time that Uber is being created. It exists now, but it comes a little bit later.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
Having technology classes or opportunities, within mainly as workshops or outreach programs that could be provided by existing organizations, didn't exist at the time, at least at the time that I was studying. There was computer literacy classes, but they only taught the basics of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And to be able to service the global markets, as well as CONUS and other markets in this technology industry, it needs to be more than just providing spreadsheets and PowerPoints and Word documents.
So talk about those specifics a little bit. Go into those details about what's missing and what you want to bring in terms of that technology education.
What's missing is a payment platform for Guam, for example. Stripe exists.
Outstanding. Sorry. Outstanding. I'm getting ready to say hallelujah, brother, and all of that kind of stuff. As a brand new entrepreneur, I am feeling the pain of not having a Stripe, a Plastique, a Minlio, all of these different payment platforms that exist and are well used in the United States that are not available here in Guam. And I'm like, How do we not have that? So sorry for the introduction. I'm feeling the pain as a brand new entrepreneur that this isn't available here on Guam. Go ahead.
Like, exact that is exactly my point. Services like this, for some reason, that don't support Guam, but we feel these small businesses, these entrepreneurs on Guam that want to provide their services, that want to help the community. To start this in the US is so easy. Just put in your address, put in your bank account, and it's done.
Yep.
In
Yep.
5 minutes, it's set up. We are a
Yes.
US territory. We're part of the US. We cannot do the same. I want to find solutions for that. And I have started this process. I called 3 other companies. They're called ISOs or MSPs. They're service providers, if you will, or independent service organizations. There's different layers to the payment system that we could plug into on the technology side. And tying it back into, what they taught in schools, they don't teach this in school because it's a very unique, advanced skill set, but it's needed. It takes so much time to learn. With the tools now, it will be a lot faster. But it's not something that can be done in a day. Like I set up a small net to catch a golf ball kind of deal. Like these
Yeah.
projects, like setting up a canopy, those can be done in a day. Cooking some food and selling as a food truck and all these services, these can be done realistically. It has physical implications that we can see and the business can get right away. The issue we have with technology on Guam is that we just cannot see it. We have to be on a digital space and cyberspace. We have to be on a computer, on our phones, on some kind of interface to access these services. And these services require power and all these things that are just not physical to us. So part of the challenge we're facing today, and I'd like this to be said here, is I want to change that. I want to change the vision of what is an app to, oh, I have an idea for an app, let's build it. Equivalently, it's saying, we have real estate. I want to build a building that services these people. That building is that app. We will have people that know how to build the building, and we will also have people to know how to utilize the building and the real estate.
Yeah, Jordan, I love that. And I tell you, those fintech examples that you brought up are huge. I've been talking about that for the last several weeks. It's not just the payment processing and stuff. I mean, it even goes to things that are basic as Wix and Square space, where you don't have the full capabilities to integrate that into your business. And that's huge for an entrepreneur. But also, all of these up and coming banks and lending organizations who are cutting through a lot of the normal bureaucracy and allowing capital and credit available to new businesses. They don't operate, and their software doesn't operate here in Guam. So I've been working with investors back in the States, and we've been frustrated, pounding our head against the wall because all of the different sources and all of the different banks that we're dealing with, trying to go in, putting in my information to try to access capital and credit, they don't do business in Guam. And it's only because that's the way that the fintech was designed. They left Guam out of that. So therefore, if you're an entrepreneur on Guam, you don't get the benefits of those things. And think about how limited you are in terms of success if you don't have the access to what entrepreneurs in the United States and other parts of the world have.
Thank you for sharing your experience, Rob. And to add to that point, the financial services left Guam behind, but they didn't leave Puerto Rico behind. We have the same political status. Why don't we have the same why don't we have the same financial benefits? So those questions were rhetorical. My vision and my mission as of today is not to talk about it. We know the fact of the matter. It's how do we get that here today? And what that looks like, and I'm getting to the meat of it, can be very detailed, but essentially, I go back and forth between the US to maintain software contracts and other services that I offer there. However, there are financial conferences. Atlanta is part of the Federal District Reserve. The Federal Reserve has one Federal Reserve for their district in the Southeast.
Yeah, and it
I
also
worked at
seems like in it, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it also seems like Atlanta is kind of like a burgeoning location for all things fintech. Is that true as well? I mean, I know we've got the traditional, Silicon Valley, but it seems like around Atlanta, there's a lot of fintech development and stuff that's going on.
exactly. Bank of America has its headquarters in Atlanta. They have the Pencil Building. A lot of these banks have started in Atlanta, and not just financials. We have energy, Georgia Power, which over their umbrella is headquartered in Georgia, and they provide power to all of the Southeast. But the point I'm making is we still need to put a lot of effort into physically being with the decision makers that are capable of telling us what political processes we need to enable these services. That's where I need help. That is not my expertise. My expertise is in hearing the technological challenges that we face to implementing those solutions on Guam and making them happen.
I hear you. I hear you.